storyteller who is from the original series, but we brought back in kind of a new way. And then Barry Blueberry back there is a character I get to play, who's the most ridiculous Fraggle announcer game show host in the world. And these are our photo puppets. So what that means is that inside of them, they're all armatured. There's wire inside so we can pose them. So when you see, shots of the puppets in their full bodies, it's just a nice way to make them look camera ready. But here to tell you even more about these glorious puppets are two of the gentlemen who work on building puppets for the show. They are also our on-set puppet wranglers. What do you say as a puppet wrangler? We're about to tell you the greatest title in the world. So this is Alexander Jurgen Ferguson and Scotty Johnson. So come on in here.
Hey, welcome.
Talk about what you do. Puppet wrangling and building puppets. Tell your magic.
Yeah. Well, so he already said these are the photo puppets, but we also use these. These are also our stunt players.
Oh, these are the stunt ones too.
On the show. So like if when Red comes down a zip line or has to go diving, anything like that, like we'll use these to rig stunts.
If someone gets thrown across the room, we've got two people and we're literally throwing them like footballs across the stage.
Yep. So yeah, sometimes they're a bit like throw puppets, but we want to, but they're kind of the stunt players. But Jurgen's in charge of all the on-set rigging, and so everything all the various specialty poses, particularly when they're full body like this. Like Jurgen facilitates all of that, and again we'll armature them per shot and per activity. So even some of these aren't all, like the storyteller over there. Like some of them are kind of one-off puppets where there isn't another version of them, right. So that on set those can be kind of transformed into, with armature wire and rigging. They can be transformed into a stunt puppet if it's required, and with the Fraggles, it's always required.
And the wranglers really are for the puppeteers. They are our life source because we need a puppet to hold something or to do something with their hands or to have their pupils stuck a certain way for a shot to work. They are the ones who do that, and they're masters on how to figure out very difficult situations. When we have our production meetings before we shoot. The night before we shoot the next day, they really are the secret sauce to figuring out how we can actually get it done. And sometimes it's exciting and it's fun stuff. Other times it's you guys literally climbing up
skin of the teeth, flying by the seat of our pants.
Yeah,
like we're literally wait a minute, we need 4 puppets instead of 2, and we need them all on pogo sticks. You've got 20 minutes, get done.
Yep.
And so we're like, okay, and so we gotta make pogo sticks
all the sets are so big now too, but that also just means lots more rock climbing.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of times they'll want they have this. If you've seen the show, there's little cliffs where the waterfalls pour down. Sometimes they'll say, "Can we get 2 Fraggles up there?" But we want them moving, so we have robo hands that fit up inside their bodies and make their heads move, and then we have to climb up the rocks, pin them down, and then you'll have a puppeteer controlling the robo hands. So the puppet's still looking around, but there's no puppeteer.
Hopefully all the kind of magical stuff that nobody will notice.
and that's real water on the set. But people ask that all the time, like, "Oh, that's all CG water." It's real water, and so when you see a Fraggle in the pond, there is literally a puppeteer under the pond with their hand through a rubber glove that's going into crushing feet of water, and they're puppeteering. So these guys have to.
And the wranglers, we have to put on big rubber boots, and we're walking through the pond and kind of holding the puppet down till they can get their hand up inside with the glove.
It's pretty crazy. Yes.
I've always kind of wondered with the water, because Red dives all the time. Does it harm the puppets in any way? Like the fabric, are they washable?
We have a special for each of the main Fraggle 5 that get in the water a lot. We have a whole special puppet that's just for them, just for the water, and so they have a special wig that behaves a little bit different, and it does, the really one of the tricks is that the water is chlorinated because so that it's safe to climb around in, and that can kind of bleach out the puppet a little bit. But we have a special puppet just for that then is a little more durable and then can also kind of be refurbed quickly, and we have kind of freshened them up between every dive, so it almost ruins a puppet, but we have one just for that.
Yeah, I get to see Fraggles in the dryer, which is always
Red has wigs, like specific wigs. So we have the wet wig that's completely doused, but then we have the semi-wet wig, and her ponytails pop on and off, so we're constantly changing them out.
But it's genuinely crazy after one of those scenes because again Jurgen and the other wranglers who are knee deep in the water are like kind of handing it down a line like a bucket brigade, trying to get it, and then we have to run it back to the shop, and we have a special spinner to spin the water out.
It's so worth it.
It's great.
You just, we were talking yesterday about the fact that like we're so wise now to how everything is done, and that you can kind of know, right, when something is there or it's not really there, and there's this tactile thing about seeing a puppet in the water, and you just go with it. You believe it. It looks natural. It looks right. So it's always worth it. But yeah, definitely it's the post-con moments like, all right, get them out, hurry up.
Quick, try to rescue it.
Do you guys want to talk a little bit about, rebuilding from a show that already existed, 40 years ago?
Yeah.
Getting a chance to rethink some things and also just what we could reuse, what we could rebuild.
Yeah,
I guess Sprocket's the best example.
Yeah, like Sprocket. This is an original Sprocket from the original show in the '80s, and I believe all of our Sprockets are.
Yep.
They've been freshened up a bit. His whiskers get freshened up. But on this kind of a puppet, what goes bad is really the foam inside has a half-life, and it degrades. But sometimes the actual, like finding this well-loved fur, it would be almost impossible to replicate. So as the foam inside goes away, they can replace that. But we certainly, as a company, we've been doing it a long time, so we have all the patterns, and so reproducing these, and then the same with the Fraggle 5. These are all, these are the original ones, but they're built exactly the same as the original ones. So it's just like the methods, the materials, the techniques on the Fraggle 5. But then that allows us to kind of play a little bit when we get into some of our newer puppets. So like you can't see him, the Glitterini, but he's filled with lights inside. And that all hooked up to kind of the light board so that they could control that on set. But then and then some of our puppets, I think Barry Blueberry's back there.
We got Barry and Price. Yeah.
And
They're like the
some of
whatnots.
those will update our techniques. So like his kind of pompadour hairdo is a 3D printed shell in there that kind of helps it.
Yeah.
So
3D printing has changed the puppet building world. So
and you'll see that when you kind of see when you kind of get to some doozers. 3D printing is essential to a lot of what that is.
Yeah. It's really cool too because some of the Fraggle 5, there's builders in the New York shop who worked in the original series, and they got to rebuild puppets that they built 40 years ago, and it was so emotional for them because these are like characters they really care about. So to get a chance to rebuild Red or Wembley was really exciting for them, and it was nice to see that for us.
Yeah. And it's fun to try to replicate those techniques from, again, I was not building puppets when the original one came out, so it's like it's fun to kind of go back and try to do it exactly the way it was done. Get through that.
I have to ask about Moki's hairstyle. Like, any reason why the change from now to before?
Moki has always been a character that, even in the original series, they were like, how do we make her better? Like, they were never like, that's 100% right, And so if you watch her on the original series, she did evolve through the years, and they kept kind of changing, like what necklace she wore. She had a sweater, and then her hair got flatter, and they were always trying to figure her out. And so we knew going into the new series that we wanted her to feel just a little bit more youthful and a little bit more part of the gang. A lot of people who didn't know the show as well, they would say, oh, is she like the mom? Or is she like the grandmother character? We'd be like, no, she's one of the kids. So we knew we wanted to give her just something lighter and younger, and Donna Kimball, who took on the role from Kathy Mullen, has this wonderful, like, unpredictable energy and improv energy, and so we thought that would also be a fun thing to bring into Moki, and so that energy combined with wanting her to look fresher kind of led us this way. So we tried to honor, like, the original Moki has a necklace, but she just has the one, like, pop tab, but we thought, well, let's add some more fun stuff that maybe she found, like, hanging out by the entrance to Fragglerock from our human world, And then her dress is green, like her robe is green, so we tried to just find little things to honor that. And then the updo we just thought was just kind of a fun little kid kind of way to wear her hair. Yeah, we call it a mokeover.
For the original 5, how many different puppets actually are there?
Wow, right?
There's I believe
We have 2 main puppets, 1 swim, 1 stunt, and then we kind of have some extra parts that could be used. Oh, we've got like a pair of kicking running legs, where it's just their lower body and their legs with like handles that squeeze so they can kick. And then we have
grabby hands.
We have grabby hands, so like literally we have a hand so they can like literally kick, grab, and pick things and gesture. They've got several tails, like especially like Boober. He has his regular tail, but then he has the light up Volubius, so we had to build one. And then Mookie has her paintbrush Volubius, so it's a 3D print that ends in like a paintbrush style.
Because you paint with your tail when you're dressed.
So they all have a lot of different tails.
What are some of the hardest moments on set as a wrangler? Because I feel like a lot of people, especially on a show like Fragglerock.
well, that water is on this particular set. I think the water is
When we have to do full body blue screen on like the Fraggles, we actually have again another pair of legs that are rigged just for blue screen, and actually Pogi has a pair still on him. We have to put 6 in his feet so that he can do his full body run. But for someone like Pogi, there's only 1. So if he's supposed to be in a shot full body sitting on a rock and singing a song, and then in the very next shot, we need him over in blue screen, we have to basically take off the bottom of his feet, sew these rods to his feet, and then sew him back up. And then they're like, okay, after this shot, we need him back on the rock again. So then we have to go back in, undo his feet, and undo. So for the Fraggle 5, they have their own blue rotted legs, but for all the background characters, it can be a lot of quick work.
And sometimes also for those blue screen shots, the puppeteers are on blue screen, there's usually 3 or 4 of us helping so that each person's got like an appendage or a tail or something so the puppet can look fantastic. But oftentimes we have to go through the head, the back of the head, to get the shot the director wants.
You got it cut off.
And so then we'll have to literally on set cut into the puppet in a very safe way so we can do it and then sew it back up super quick. So it's a lot of just, I don't know how they do it, but these are the...
there's a lot of tearing things down and then rebuilding it right there on set.
And then we're doing, because we're shooting at any time, every block, every like we'll do like 2 or 3 episodes per block. So we could have in one day we could be shooting from 3 different episodes. In one episode, all the puppets are in ball gowns, and then in the next episode they're wearing rain gear. And if we're switching out, that means with the background puppets, undress, redress, for every shot.
There was one episode where I thought Jurgen was going to kill us because it was like, okay, so they're in their ball gowns and what was the dress up episode, and then it was like, and then they all have to be ready for blue screen, then we got to go back to the regular look.
And then there was the one where it's everything gets too hot, so they all have to have their clothes off and wearing tank tops. So everyone had to be dressed, undressed. It's a lot. And there's up to like 36 to 40 background puppets. So
we usually have 25 puppeteers on set to fill out the Great Hall for those big group scenes, and they're shoved in different places and through different holes, and it's so much to maintain. But
It's a massive show. Yeah, I mean there's 3 full sound stages up there, and again 25 puppeteers at almost all times.
plus that's
There's
not
never-
only
there's never
Fraggles, there's
quite.
all the creatures.
Like it's never like, oh, this day is just one puppet. It's just like, no.
I think like an Uncle Traveling Matt shoot day
Yeah.
is where it's one puppet is maybe the only time that happens. Yeah.
How many is random crew?
Well, we have like on set. There's usually like 4 full-time people kind of per set, but then we also have kind of a separate crew that's pretty much dedicated to the doozers, and then we have a full crew that's in the workshop prepping the next day's work, and so we have about 17 people working with the workshop that are just the technical support for that doesn't include any puppeteers or anything. That's literally just the technical support for.
But then there are some days where we have 3 different film groups going on 3 different stages.
Right.
So then we kind of have to break it down to whoever has the biggest amount of puppets. We have like 2 wranglers there. If it's more simple but more up close stuff, then we'll have 1 person dedicated to that, and then whoever's in the shop come on over and
Yeah,
help
and
us
then-
out
and
on
then-
the third stage.
And then on gourd days, everything just gets bigger. So we'll often bring in day players on gourd days where we'll have a few extra people that come in just to help lift the gourds.
We all really earn our sleep working on the show. Yes.
Sorry, I have all the questions.
No.
So I've always wondered, looking, especially at the Great Hall, and how massive that stage is. Like, how tall actually are those like cliffs? How deep does the water go? Like, what is actually being built into this?
The Great Hall, if I remember right, it's about 22 feet high in total. And it is much bigger than the original. The original Great Hall in the original series could definitely fit inside of this room. It's probably smaller. Ours is probably twice the size of this room. It's a
Yeah.
massive space.
And it's it's taller than this ceiling.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it
like
goes,
first level is almost just below here. So yeah,
Yeah.
first level starts here.
Yeah, so this is what it's saying is on Fragglerock and most Henson produced puppet shows, the sets are raised up about 4 to 5 feet, so the puppeteers can be standing beneath it. So you're kind of already starting above, human height, but then you're going up another, 15, 20 feet. And then the water, the pond in the Great Hall is about 8 feet deep. Yeah, and it's fun. It's cool because you get that sense that it goes down deep, and it's also practical because this season, we really wanted to do more in the water. So like we actually got in like wetsuits as puppeteers and got in there so that we could really puppeteer them and they could frame us out and we could make it look like they really were swimming. So it's a practical thing and also just an aesthetic thing too.
And then for acting with voice work and stuff, how much of that is live versus recorded later while you're puppeteering?
Pretty much scene-wise, everything is live. So if you, like when I'm doing Gobo, I'm doing his lines live. The only time we use pre-recorded voices is if we're doing a song. We'll go into the music studio, record the song, and play back just for voice health and things like that. And if it's a scene where like there's 2 characters, like myself, if I play Gobo and Barry Blueberry, if they're both in the scene, then one puppeteer, whichever character has the least amount of dialogue, I'll usually give my puppet to that performer, and they'll do it, and I'll go in and loop it later. Yeah. Yes.
Doing some of the voices, do you ever mess with the Wranglers during the head shopping or interaction, like interacting?
I mean, part of what gets you through those long days is making everybody laugh. I mean, I think it's funny, the relationship that the puppeteers as the characters have with the crew is so fun and special. We tease them all the time, and poor Jurgen will be, staple.
It's the stapling.
He'll have to like
It's the stapling.
he'll like be stapling, the legs down, something like that, and we'll just scream and just be like, at so many times he's thought.
And it's awful. Why do you hate me, Jurgen? Ka-ching.
And a lot of the crew, it's funny. Like there's the lady who did the clapboard for the show.
Oh,
Chelsea.
Oh my god.
Gobo for some random reason had this like deep relationship with her and like was in love with her, and then they finally on camera told Gobo that she was married, and he had like a nervous breakdown. Like it's ridiculous because it's like it's not real, but yet but people loved it. It's me doing it. It's not like but people loved it. They would look forward to it, and actually on our second to last day of shooting, they gave me a photo. They gave Gobo a photo of her name's Chelsea and her husband with her husband scratched out and Gobo's face replaced. And it's just like, what's wrong with all of us? But it's stuff like that that makes it so much fun because we just, I don't know, we love to make everyone enjoy their day. It's really, that's how you get the best work on screen.
What about with the gourds? How many people does that take to puppet a gourd?
Well, we're going to tell you all about the chords. We have a special show and tell for that, but I can tell you it takes 6 performers total to do chords. And you'll see why. But you guys excited to see the chords?
I want to know how actually tall they are.
They're pretty big. Yeah.
Well, before we head over there, I just wanted to give people a chance, because I see all these cameras. I want to make sure you get everything that you need. So if you want pictures of maybe Scotty and Jurgen, we can put them in front and take pictures. If you want to get up close and shoot video,
There's a
you
mark
can do
here.
that. If you want to take
If
pictures
you're
of
back by
yourself,
that mark,
absolutely.
they'll actually kind of
Before we do that,
looking at you.
Do you guys want to talk a little bit about eyeline? Because I'm obsessed with puppet eyeline, and it's actually part of this conversation. You go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, there's a blue T mark right there. So if you're standing there and just gonna focus your camera on Gobo, everyone else should be kind of looking at you.
Yeah, so you can take turns to do that, and really
And if you
puppets,
wanna
and
sit
we'll
on
talk
the
more
stool
about
in
this,
front.
but puppetry, Henson puppetry is for television. That's what Jim Henson did. Every puppet you see on television is because of the way Jim Henson figured out how to do puppets on television. And it has a lot to do with eye focus and their ability to really look at the camera. You can see in real life they kind of look a little cross-eyed, but on camera they will not.